Hey, peace. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Wait for a few seconds just to let a few people hop on, not too long. But I want to talk about anger today. Anger. How many of you all experience anger more than you'd like? How many of you have experienced blood boiling anger? How many of you have experienced anger when it comes to people you love that seem to just not, you can't really let it go, and so it's getting in the way of your relationship with those people? How many of you experience anger stemming from past experiences or childhood experiences? Anger is real. Anger is toxic. You know, anger is toxic. Literally, like scientifically, when we talk about biology, anger, the chemicals, the body reaction that happens, the reactions that happens in the body when you experience anger is literally toxic. Literally. Peace, y'all. Peace. It's literally toxic. Literally. Like the imbalance that happens when certain chemicals are released when you experience the feeling of anger is so real. Someone says, oh my God, yes it is. And anger can harm your cells badly. Very badly. And did you know that if you have individuals in your lineage who have experienced anger like severely, and there was never a balancing out of that energy or healing of that energy, it actually alters DNA. Did you know anger can rest in your DNA because of individuals who are in your lineage that maybe never experienced healing? Did you know that if you don't experience healing from anger and that balancing out of anger, it could pass on to your children and your children's children? If there's no one in the family that understands ancestral healing and know how to do it and willing to do the work to do ancestral healing, it passes on generation after generation after generation. I had this topic on my mind because last night during the new moon meditation, I allowed a few people to share their experiences. Every month we have upwards of near almost 100 people tune in to the new moon and full moon meditations. And there have been some that have tuned in consistently. Month after month, they're tuning into these new moon and full moon meditations where we take some time to, first of all, gain knowledge around what's happening in the cosmos and how that can help us to heal on our journey. And so there's a sister who shared her testimony. She said she had been doing the new moon meditations for some time. And one of the things that she testifies to is that her family noticed a change in her. She said her family said, you're not as angry as you used to be. You're not, your mood is better. Your perception has shifted. You've changed in how you react to things. And they said it in appreciation and in gratitude. And I was just so grateful to hear that because she sounds like a seasoned individual. So for her to be able to find that peace in the space in life that she's in, where that peace amplifies her light so much that her friends and family sees it and feels it, is monumental. Because not only is she healing, but her healing is facilitating the healing of her close ones, of her friends and family. or for our loved ones. That is, you know, that is what we want. We want to heal for ourselves, but also let us understand that when we heal, everything that we are affiliated with, that we are associated with, all of our relations heal. And so prayerfully, that's an inspiration for you to really, you know, allow yourself to dig deep, figure out what's causing the anger, what's causing the resentment, what's causing the guilt, the shame. All of these emotions are toxic. Not only toxic to your physical body, but toxic to your, you know, we have three bodies. We have the spiritual, energetic body, the emotional body, and the physical body. And so when you get to the root of these emotions, anger, fear, sadness, anxiety, worry, resentment, guilt, shame, when you get to the root of it and heal it, it heals all three bodies. Your energy and your energetic and spiritual body, your emotional body, and your physical body. You begin to vibrate on a higher frequency. You begin to feel differently. And because you feel differently, you are emoting on a higher frequency. Instead of emoting fear and lack, you're emoting peace and power and joy, you know. And what you emote put things in motion. What we emote put things in motion. It vibrates within you and all around you, and that vibration attracts and repels. And it can attract those things that your heart truly desires, those things that are positive for your life, or it can attract things that are imbalanced for your life. It just depends on you. What are you vibing on? Before I hop off, because I just wanted to share a word that was on my mind, and giving thanks for those who have experienced a relief from anger. I have been in a place where I had issues with anger. And my issues were that, first of all, you know, I definitely felt it. When I felt it intensely. And I oftentimes didn't know how to express it. And so what would happen is I would either express it, but in a way where it didn't really do what I was hoping for it to do when I expressed. So, you know, it offended or it turned people off, or I just didn't express. Both being things that we don't want. We desire to have an expression, be able to express ourselves in ways where people can resonate, people can understand, and at the very least, if they don't understand, if they don't agree, they can respect it. You know, and we can work on that. That's something that, you know, we can develop as individuals, develop a way that we can express ourselves that's true to us, and also gives us also allows people to respect what it is that we're expressing. But let me say this before I hop off. Anger. This is something that I use when I'm working with clients and we're reconciling. This is what I call it. We're reconciling emotions. You know, reconciling emotions. And the reason why I say reconcile emotions, because emotions are valuable. We don't want to not be emotional, you know. And emotions that are imbalanced or not in alignment with our higher selves, they come. Prayerfully, they come and go. Reconciliation with those emotions takes you through a process of acknowledging the emotion, giving thanks, lightening your heart around it, meaning giving thanks for it, you know, lightening your heart, not attaching to it, not feeling some type of way about it, not feeling bad about it, not beating yourself up about it, because that happens. Individuals get stuck in a space where they're kind of mad that they have those emotions. So it devalues the benefit and the value of emotions, because there is a value to emotions. So we, acknowledge it, then place value on it, giving thanks. We give thanks for the ability to feel. And we acknowledge that emotions are messengers. And then we start to work on aligning with the message. What is the message for our life? What is this emotion telling me? What is it revealing to me? And once we do that, then we gain the benefit of that faculty that is feelings and emotions, because there's always a benefit. Emotions are messengers. We should never really ignore them. We should learn how to reconcile them, and then we should also learn how to be co-creators in the process, with feelings being one of our companions, in this process. And so anger, one of the things I use is an emotion wheel that identifies anger and offers some synonyms for anger, so that you can truly identify what you're feeling, because sometimes people don't know what they're feeling. And sometimes people feel like they're sad, but they're really angry. Sometimes people feel, frustrated, but really they're angry. And sometimes people feel like they're angry, but really they're sad or they're scared. But anger, has taken its place. And so, anger, how I like to look at it, anger is true anger when you feel like there has been a violation. Okay, when you feel like there has been a violation. And in order for you to really move past that anger, it will benefit you to acknowledge what was the violation, and then see if there's any way you can, with that person or with yourself, establish a agreement with yourself or that person, that you all can uphold, an agreement that you can uphold that will keep from that violation happening again. Okay, whether that's with your children, you're angry with your children, you're angry with your spouse, you're angry with your supervisor, your employee, whatever has caused that anger, acknowledge what was the violation, and then what agreement can be established so that this won't happen again. Now, this is something that I get from a training that I have done with Baba and Mama Matsumoto. They teach a training that includes feelings as messengers. They teach you about your feelings and what those messages are. But in essence, without me going fully into that, because I have had Baba Matsumoto on one of my videos on YouTube. He's there and we're talking and discussing certain things, and he dropped some beautiful jewels. So if you want more information on that, you can definitely visit my YouTube channel and maybe check that video out. But whether you are using this thought process or not, what's essential is that you process the emotion and not hold on to it. Because anger and all the and different imbalanced feelings that are similar to anger, they're toxic. Toxic to your very being. Toxic to the mind. Toxic to the spirit. Toxic to the body. If you know anything about Louise Hay, there's a teacher. Her name is Louise Hay. She's a metaphysical teacher. She did this work on the metaphysical meanings of different ailments of the body. And if you look at tumors, fibroid cancer and fibroids and ovarian cancer and colon cancer and these different type of things, it'll tell you that a lot of times the root of it is anger, is resentment, is shame, and is very real. The doctors don't say, the doctors ask you all questions except, well, how have you been feeling lately? And what have your emotions been like? What trauma have you experienced in your childhood? What trauma have you experienced in your young adulthood, or what's happening right now in your life? Are you holding on to anything that you need to let go? Doctors ain't gonna ask you that. Barely. And even when you go to therapy, oftentimes, you may be discussing those things, but oftentimes sometimes, I won't say often, I'll say sometimes, because I can attest to that, it missed the mark when it comes to, well, what do I do about it? Well, how do I reconcile this so I'm not living this over and over again? How do I balance this out so it can turn from something that was toxic or traumatic, that is continuously impacting my life, to something that I've changed my mindset around, or my perception about, so that now it can be fertilizer in my life instead of something that's harmful in my life, But, we have to know how to think about these things, and we have to first, and really the biggest thing is that I can attest to, as far as dealing with any type of imbalanced energies like anger and guilt and resentment and shame and impatience and whatever it may feel like, is just acknowledging that we're on a beautiful journey that many call their destiny. We have this beautiful journey that has been granted to us as a blessing. This journey that is a blessing to us. And, at the end of the day, we came here as pure positive energy. We came here to a place, the physical experience, that has everything that we need, not only to survive, but also to thrive. And we have access to energy. We have access to life force energy. Every day we have breath. We have access to this life force energy, that the same energy that created the worlds and sustaining the worlds. And if we only can really truly understand what and who we are, then we will understand how do we walk this journey in a more peaceful and fruitful way. When I began to really understand who I am, who and what I am, and my relationship with what we call the Creator or God, and that which we call Creator or God resides within me, resides within me. I'm not saying it just as a fancy word, but literally as the definition. Okay, I had to pause. But literally as the definition of reside in me. And I understand what this is that we're talking about. This thing we're calling God, this thing we call the Creator, the universe, energy, whatever we want to call it. If I truly understand what that is, it wipes away the anger. It resolves the fear. It resolves the shame and the guilt. Because if we know that we come as pure positive energy, and that we have a beautiful divine destiny connected to our very core, the very core of us, and that, this life force energy that sustains the world, it resides in me, then what do I fear? My work is to govern the mind, govern the spirit, govern the heart, so that I don't let myself run away with fear, that I don't allow guilt to settle in. I realize that all is in divine order. Everything is divinely ordered. Even the times where I was not in alignment, the times where I didn't know and I did things that I maybe deemed to be silly or stupid or whatever, that still was in divine order. And oftentimes we don't see it, and we don't get into a place where we can believe that, because until we've lived some life. And we look back and say, man, some things I did in my 20s, my God, you know what I mean? But thank God, that I'm not living those things out in my 30s and 40s or 50s and 60s. Then we're able to give thanks, when we look back in retrospect. When we're able to look back and say, and we can appreciate, what I can appreciate is, by experiencing something I didn't want, it clarified what I do want. And I'm very clear, been there, done it. That's one of the beautiful expressions that come from those experiences. Been there, done that. Learned a lesson. Let's keep moving. Because it will continue to show up in your life until you learn the lesson. That is because it's meant to show up in your life. These things are meant to show up so you can learn. So you can keep clarifying, keep remembering, keep identifying who you are. And what is it that will assist you in your journey to really being your highest self? So, you know, I came on to talk about this thing called anger, you know, this thing that's very toxic to us, and to encourage anyone who's experiencing anger or fear or worry or any of those different things that are very toxic, to encourage you to, if you need support, reach out. You know, there's so many people who really provide valuable services that can help you to reconcile those emotions. You know, I do offer a service, but there are many more, you know. But much of I thought about the anger because of the testimony last night and how anger really wreaks havoc on the individual, but also everyone connected to him. And, you know, I definitely can acknowledge that there have been more than a lot of people that I've worked with, and anger is one of the things that, you know, we have to work through. And once we work through it, man, the peace that they experience and the growth and the healing that not only they experience, but the people and the things connected to them experiences. So I'm encouraging you to not ignore it. You know, if it's something that you've dealt with for a long time, you know, it's okay for you to say, look, I definitely have, this is just me, but I know it could be better. You know, don't just accept that that's how life has to be for you. You know, get the support that you need. Nonetheless, if you missed the new moon meditation from last night, the replay is at the link in bio. You have a couple more days to take advantage of this energy. It extends until Friday. And hey, if you want to learn more about Oyun Ministries and the different offerings, the memberships, the services, and all that good stuff, please visit the link in bio. I hope something that was said today resonated with you. Okay, I pray that we experience so much ease and so much healing, and I pray that our heart continue to lighten so that we can experience a more peaceful and fruitful existence while we're here on this physical plane. May all anger be wiped away, sadness be wiped away, guilt, shame, worry, fear, may it be wiped away, so that we can reclaim our birthrights while we are here in this physical experience. And our birthright is abundance. It is peace. It is grace. Our birthright is grace. Our birthright is joy, laughter, fun, inspiration, stimulation. I'm just naming all the ones I can think of. Like, that is our birthright, to be inspired and inspiring. That is our birthright. We're here as conscious, thriving, breathing beings. And if we're breathing, that means we have the capacity to really experience a beautiful life. If we can really just remember who and what we are in the face of adversity, in the face of everything that's going on in life. Remember what we have access to. And if you ever forget, it's nothing like spending time in nature to help remind you. All right. Peace and blessings to you.